Welcome to the Mad Quotient. Right now, the Mad Quotient is an idea that has been germinating for quite a while. Now, over the years, I met a lot of people. I have traveled all over the country and I kept meeting people who are doing things which speaks to their heart, right? People doing work that satisfies their soul. They may have started getting trained for something and are doing something completely different. Many who quit high paying jobs and started something that their heart called out to. And I would look at these people and say, I don't know if I can do that. What I believe is that it takes a deep inner shift to step out of one's comfort zone. There's something that has to come from deep within. And it takes tremendous courage to listen to your heart and follow your passion. And sometimes, in just following your passion, you come face to face with your purpose. The Mad Quotient is an endeavor to introduce such people to you and also to bring their stories through a conversation. Individuals who are making a difference in their own way by following their heart. Today on Women's Day, as I launch the first episode of the Mad Quotient, I bring our first guest, a woman who is working to empower other women. What better day, isn't it? Our first guest is Pallavi Deshpande. She's the founder director of Talent Empowerment Foundation. The TEF works to provide opportunities for income generation for women in need and in distress. Helping women help themselves is the core mission of TEF, and that is something Pallavi passionately believes in. Pallavi is an MSc from the University of Pune, a gold ranker, a rank holder. She's a gold medalist. She's done resource mobilization and management courses from the SP Jain Institute. Over the years, she has worked as the resource head, the project head, and in even at national and regional levels in many organizations and NGOs. To say a little about her family, her husband's a mariner, he's an engineer, shipbuilding engineer to be precise, specializing in oil tankers. And her daughter is a NIFT graduate and her son is in class 11th. So just so much about me. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to request you to keep your on mute, keep yourselves on mute. And what I would be doing is I will pin Pallavi so that we can take a look at her. Yeah. Okay. There we are. We're spotlighting Pallavi. Right? Okay. Welcome, Pallavi.
Thank you, Anu.
Thank you. Yeah.
Welcome to everyone, all the participants here, and happy Women's Day.
Happy
and a very good evening to everyone. Thank you, Anu.
Thank you. So let's start with the questions. Pallavi, you started your career as an educator, right? You were a teacher for many years and you've also been an entrepreneur. And in fact, for quite a few years, you've been a very active member of the Rotary Club and you've served in several positions in the Rotary Club. In fact, you've been a past president of the Rotary Club of Pune University. You served as the Rotary District Conference Chairman. You are also currently serving as the Assistant Governor and in the avenue of District Rotary Youth Exchange. With so much already happening, how did the idea of TEF come about?
Okay. To share a little bit. So Rotary, I'm still a Rotarian. Obviously, I'm an active Rotarian. And I joined Rotary a couple of years back as an organization where, I get a social connect. And also through which I could do some social work. Now, it so happened that in 2017-18, I got the opportunity to become the president of Rotary Club of Pune University, which is in District 3131 of Pune and Raigad. Now, as part of this club, when I was the president, I was obviously looking at doing certain projects which were women-oriented because I was a woman myself and leading as a woman president. So while doing this project, we, some Rotarians came together, some district officers also, and through them, we did a project for training some women for employment opportunities in the family courts of Pune. After my tenure was over, we did this project very successfully. All of us, had a very good experience. After my tenure was over, see, the structure of Rotary is such that Rotary president is for 1 year, and after that, the president changes, and the cycle goes on. So when this happened, I realized I kept getting calls from the women, because the women felt that, there was a connect which was formed, and they kept feeling that, we need someone, we need you. Aap aiye na, aap kahan ho? What happened, and where are you? What do we do now? This is what we want to do. So this kept happening. And then I thought that, I need to do something about it. I've been wanting to do, something of my own, wanting to do some project for women. So why not, do it now? And that is the time when I thought, that let me establish. So while I was, connecting with them, I realized that I spoke to a lot of people. I spoke to a lot of friends, including Anu, Megha, a lot of my other friends. And they were very, very encouraging that you must do something of your own. But when I approached a number of people, I realized that doing something as an individual, is different. If I do something as a registered entity, it has more weightage. Whenever I approach people, because there are certain compliances to be met, there are so many other things which, when you are a registered entity, so many other things which go along with that. So I thought it better to form an organization through which I can reach out to different needy women in different types of needy women, and that's how TF was formed, and that's how TF came into being.
Right. Thanks. Pallavi, in the years that I've known you, and that's been, I think now it's 30 plus years, right?
Yeah.
You've always been a part of the NGO sector. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, we both started in the same NGO 30 years ago, right? Yeah. So your first job was in an NGO, and then of course through the Rotary, you have been working in the social sector, right? For you, it almost seems like an inner calling, wanting to do something for others, right? And so something that's coming from deep within. So why TEF? Why women? I mean, why women in particular? What was that inner shift that made you actually take that leap of faith and start your own NGO?
Okay, so this calls for a little bit of sharing. I have to take you all back to my childhood, actually, and share something personal over here. I was 8 years old when I lost my mother. And I have one younger sister. We don't have a brother. My sister is 6 years younger to me. So she was 2 years old. And then we were in Delhi, and we came down to Pune, and we come from a very, very traditional Maharashtrian, typical traditional family, Brahmin family. No, don't do this, don't do that, and that kind of a thing. And fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know, but my father was, I think he couldn't deal with the loss, or he was like that only, I don't know. But we went through a lot of experiences, which now in hindsight was not required, because my father was working in Ministry of Textiles. So it is not as if we didn't have the money, but there were times when we didn't have. I remember, I have some St. Mary's friends here, but now I can share that I remember I was a hostelite, and I used to have 2 dresses to wear, and it was so embarrassing, because there was no one. It was a different thing. It's not just having not having a mother, but it was having a, how do I express this? There's no better word to say this, but an emotionally abusive father. And this went on for quite some time. And every time I used to feel, let me start working, let me start earning. Tab dekho main kya karungi, main jaake, I want to get out of this. And I could feel the cages closing on me. We were dumped on relatives. We were dumped to do things alone. We were just left in empty houses to deal with ourselves, and a lot of things, which I wouldn't like to go too much into the personal things, because a lot of people are associated with that journey of mine, and they were also equally affected. But especially I was affected in this whole thing of, I need to be independent, I need to take care of my sister, I need to stand on my own feet as soon as possible. So even after my BSc, when I shifted to Pune, Anu and I, where we got acquainted during our MSc in Pune University, this driving force was there. Ki mujhe na, in fact, I had got opportunities to go to US and so many things, but I didn't take that up because I had this burning desire that no, I have to start earning as fast as I can so that I can support myself, I can support my sister and get out of this situation. So right from that was the driving force. And then when I look back, then marriage happened, then I started working in NGOs, then I had that was one way probably of getting out of the situation, an escape situation. And so life happened, I had children, and I worked in an NGO, I worked as an educator. But that whole feeling continuously, call it providence, call it destiny, I kept coming across women, and those experiences, it kept coming back to me when I was working with various NGOs, various organizations, that if the woman of the house is taken care of, if she is independent financially, okay, if she can earn herself, a lot of things become simpler. Money definitely doesn't solve everything, I realize that, but money makes certain things simpler. She can feed her children. What is important for the woman is to take care of her dependents. That's very, very important. You don't feel guilty about what you're doing. You can support yourself as per your lifestyle, whatever you want to do. This experience throughout my journey, throughout till I really was going through, even my kids were growing up, was with me. And then at a point, I realized that, okay, my daughter has now joined NIFT. She's, become 19, 20 years of age. My son is now can take care of herself. All these years, I used to feel guilty. Why didn't I do it all these years? Because I couldn't deal with my own issues, my own complexes. That is also there, that I couldn't accept to myself that I have to first, be at peace myself to do all of this. And then I used to feel guilty that I went through a lot because I didn't have a mother. So I have to be there for my children to protect them so that, they don't face similar or equivalent um, abuse. I wouldn't call it abuse. Abuse is too much stronger term, but you have that protective feeling that no, I was feeling guilty that no, if I'm out of the house for 12 hours for my career, I used to work in corporates also. I worked in corporates also. I used to feel guilty. कि अरे मैंने खिलाया नहीं, मैंने ये नहीं किया. Too much of expectation from myself, like a super mom, and I want to do this, I want to do that. And ultimately I decided to take a break and really relook at my life. And in the meanwhile, what I had done was I had worked in an NGO. Then after my MSc, I had worked in an NGO with Anu, where Anu was talking about this. But वो जमाना ना internet का नहीं था, वो mobile phone का भी नहीं था. That time pages had just started coming, so we could really connect with people, or find people. So it was all about networking. So अगर एक family में से connections होते हैं, and you can connect to families, then you can actually have for example, I want to buy a dress, or I want to get some ये दाल कैसे, kirana कैसे, how do I do this. So today you go on the net and you find out pictures of ये इस दाल को मसूर बोलते हैं, इस दाल को अरद बोलते हैं, whatever, तूर दाल or whatever. That time there was no one to handhold. So that was such a tough journey, even after my graduation. And I was plus in an NGO. I had an NGO friend also, Sanjeev. I don't know if you remember, some of you all may remember him.
Yeah.
And I had gone with him to a field assignment. And for 4 days, no one could contact us, because that time landline ka zamana tha, and they couldn't contact us. So when I came back, there was a big hue and cry in my, tab sab relatives aa jate ki nahi, apni ladki aise nahi honi chahiye. Baki time to relatives are, so everyone came there, and then I did my typical, B.Ed kar lo. B.Ed is a good thing. Apne ghar ki ladkiyan वैसे ही करती हैं. So I did my B.Ed, and then I was working in the education sector. But after my son was born, I thought that no, NGO, as you said, Anu, that something pulled me towards the NGO field.
Right.
So I decided to do a resource mobilization and management refresher course after my son was born, and from SP Jain Institute of Management, Bombay. That was also a very tough decision because I had to leave the children. I used to go do up and down to Bombay from Pune, and my husband had to be here. So I had to wait a lot in life, कि जब when he is here, that year I will be able to do it, when he can take a break that way. And then I worked in a lot of NGOs because I had this thing, I have to be financially independent. I cannot depend on anyone, That fear was so much in my mind. But after my children grew up, then I realized that, okay, now they've grown up. Now I've also worked in certain NGOs. But now, I mean, and I faced all of this. I took a hard look at myself. I've also been the president of Rotary. I've tried to do projects through Rotary, but Rotary has a lot of 7 areas of focus in which they work. So it is not just women. There are a lot of areas of focus. So if I want to do this, what is the better time now? Ab nahi karungi to kab karungi?
Right.
No, when am I going to, do this is what I want to do, because I, I used to keep thinking that I was an educated woman. I was getting education, a world class education, a convent education, and I was well educated. Matlab, fees, graduation, degrees on paper, if you see that I had everything. For people to see I had a lovely house. Even when I was with my dad, we had houses, we had food. अंदर क्या होता है, अंदर की बात होती है.
Right.
Yeah, or make you realize what each of us has our own struggle to go through. And then when I thought about it, that I went through this, I being from a so-called privileged background, with so much of education and so many connects, possibly you can say, still I went through this much of struggle. So what about the women who don't have these facilities, who are really needy and who need a helping hand? Can I do something for them? And that is when I felt that no, it now is the time. मेरी लाइफ तो चलेगी, अभी तो सेट हो गई, थोड़ी ना थोड़ी, life goes on and something or the other life keeps throwing at you. Okay, fine, but it's not like I'm going to I've dealt with my own issues. I've dealt with my own demons, is what I feel. And then I thought that no, let me give a helping hand to women who really need it, who are from the socio-economic class, lower socio-economic class. Because if you see, we keep talking about a society mein ye ho raha hai, society mein wo ho raha hai, and there's so much crime, there's so much, the children are going out of hand. But when I was working with various NGOs, I kept realizing that भूख लगी है यार बच्चों को, उनको खाने के लिए नहीं है. The mother goes for the whole day, she's working as a maid, or she's working, father is coming as an alcoholic and beating her up or something. So that is why the children are roaming around, and the crime is increasing.
Right.
And so let me do my bit. And that is how I came into this sector. I found my own organization and I started working for women.
Wow. I don't know what to say. Speechless, Pallavi. Thank you so much for sharing your personal journey. I mean, I think this is something that I probably, and I've known you for so long, I'm hearing it for the first time about what you experienced in your childhood. For me, the one word that I would describe you as, and I'm sure some of our friends who are on the call from university days would say, firebrand was the word I would use. Always a go-getter, wanting to do things. And now when I listen, I don't realize, one really doesn't realize what all is going on deep inside, inside a person. And so happy to hear that you have been able to convert that into this strength that you're bringing out and helping women, find their own strength.
You know what, Anu, looking back now, because my daughter is, she talks about, I'm sure everyone's kids, my daughter is now 22. She has, a lot of mental health is the buzzword nowadays. And she says, just because you went through so much, not necessary that, my issues are not, issues. Keeping that aside, I realized mental health is become acceptable to talk about it now. It wasn't,
I guess so.
So when you call about firebrand, when you call about anger, now looking back at it, I realized that I was angry. And that is why probably I was angry at the world. A friend of mine used to always say that, that anger used to come out in some way or the other. Right. And I used to be pushy. I used to be aggressive. I was just angry. And I'm fortunate that friends like you, have been with me, still been with me, known me that way and still been with me even today. Even some of my relatives, my close friends have joined here today. And I'm really fortunate that people have still been with me. It was a big decision to share my personal journey today on this platform today. Before doing this, I spoke to my younger sister. Because when you are in a situation, you are not alone. there are many people who get affected even by what you speak on a platform. So today I have spoken to my sister that now I think it's time for us to acknowledge the things we went through and help people learn from our journey. And that is why I've spoken about it today.
Thank you, Pallavi. And in fact, I think even as you shared, I'm sure a lot of people on the call, in fact, mostly women also, are probably relating to their own lives, picking up little connections about and similarities, because I think all of us go through similar experiences. But I really like what you just said about acknowledging that this is happening, because it's when you acknowledge and accept that there's something that one has gone through, then that is when you start dealing with it and do something about it. And look at you, I mean, you started your own NGO where you're going to be helping other women. I think that's brilliant. So would you like to tell us more about TEF, and what is the work that you do through TEF?
Yeah. So, Talent Empowerment Foundation, the idea behind this obviously is to reach out to women who are socio-economically deprived, and irrespective of caste, creed, or religion. Whichever religion they may be, wherever they may be, we would like to lend a helping hand. Um, as I believe that economic independence really empowers the women. At least I think it takes care of 80% of her issues, is my feeling. She has that, if nothing else, it gives her confidence, if she is economically
True.
independent. So I feel that is what drives me. So just giving training is not enough. We are trying to, make them economically independent. Now, how we do that? We've got two avenues. We've got individual trainings where we deal with the women, and we've got group trainings. When in an individual training, we interact with the woman. We interact with all our women one-to-one basis. We share, connect with her. We try to understand her. What are her constraints? And then customize the solution to her. Because every woman, every circumstance, though the common broad story, if you go to a lawyer, they will say the story, sabki story same hoti hai. Zyada se zyada kya hoga, everyone, almost similarly goes. But for that woman, her story is unique. For
Right,
that particular woman. So we try and understand her constraints. Kabhi it is the constraint of family members. Sometimes it's the constraint of society, what she perceives as societal boundaries, or sometimes it is
right.
really someone is ill at home, the culture is different. So we try and connect to the woman, and then we understand her constraint, what it is, and accordingly we align her with her course. Many a times the women we give a helping hand to do not have education, do not have documents. Some of them are 5th pass, 9th pass, 10th pass, 12th pass. A few of them are graduates and postgraduates too, but it depends on their situation and what they've gone through. So what we do is, we have a kind of a model like a Uber kind of a model. So I don't have a particular institution set up where I provide all types of trainings. What we do is, I have tried, we empanel trainers, we empanel institutions, and we tie up with those kind of institutions. So on an individual basis right now, we have tied up with institutions which give beauty parlor training, basic and advanced. We also have tied up with institutions who give nursing attendant, sister ke haath ke niche, under the sister, like an attendant. We give that kind of a training. Then we give two-wheeler driving training. And most of these institutions are accredited by Maharashtra State Skill Development Corporation, so that they get a certificate in line with those, and they get jobs. What is the whole idea is that they get jobs. But koi औरतें ऐसे भी होती हैं कि we have never traveled. We don't know how to go there to that institute. We हमारे घर के छोड़ेंगे नहीं. You don't know. Today you will say you go, and then रात को my husband will come and he will beat me up. Or I can't go. मेरे मोहल्ले वाले क्या बोलेंगे? All those kind of constraints. So, or they really don't have documents. Many of these organizations need documents to even take admission.
Right.
So what we do is we take group trainings over there. So in those group trainings, then we have various kind of courses for them. So sometimes we have cloth bag making courses, or we have a cotton wick project, which we did during COVID times. So these are all these group projects. Imitation jewelry project is there. Spoken English project is there. Maybe Anu, we could share
yeah, we'll just do
a
that.
presentation, and I could talk
I'll just
more
do
about
that. Give me a
that.
moment. Right. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
This is something you started with, right, Pallavi?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So what happened was that in Shivaji Nagar court, so this is a Pune court, and many of the times these women land up. You will be surprised at the number of women, the economically lower class women, undergoing divorces. Because and why do they go undergo a divorce? See, divorce is a taboo thing in middle class. In higher middle class, or in very super rich class, or in the lower class, it doesn't matter after a point. But they file for a divorce because they need alimony. That is what they're looking for. So many a times what happens is the divorce to mil jata hai, but alimony, because the husband gives a false income, or the husband is only earning 10,000 or 20,000, or he shows dependence, and the case drags on for so many years. So normally she gets the alimony of 2,000, 5,000, and that is granted. Again, she has to file a case saying that grant to ho gayi hai alimony, that order to has been given by the judge, but she has to get it in her account. Okay.
Right.
In the meantime, what is the lady going to do? Aurat kya karegi? How will she feed herself? How will she support herself? So there is a legal aid center in every court. Many of us may not be aware of this. That is why actually I would like to share this on this platform. Any woman, this is a facility given by Government of India. Any woman, you go to any court in your city, in your area, there is a district legal at every district. There is a legal aid center where they give free aid to women. They are supposed to give even a free lawyer to a woman.
Wonderful.
Irrespective of your economic class and your economic position. So we approached them. This is the district legal aid cell. The person who is talking is Honorable Sri Chetan Bhagwat, the Secretary Judge of DLSA, and this is a Honorable Judge Madam who is next to me. And we are empaneled at the Shivaji Nagar Court in Pune, and we have our a board there. And this is the pic of the inauguration thing. Over here, we just do registration. Women approach us through this. So the legal aid center gives our flyers, or the women they take our number from there. Some pre-COVID times, I used to go there and they used to register themselves. But now through word of mouth and through the organization, women approach us. Okay, like this, we are empaneled with a number of other courts also. But this is something which all of us, even as women and men, because men have daughters, men have mothers. Okay, and this legal aid center also helps men. It is not just women, but for women, they give free, lawyers and such kind of facilities. They have some other schemes also for women, right? Can we go to the next slide?
Pallavi, how many districts are you working in through this?
Okay, I'm working in 5 districts currently: Nanded, Jalna, Ratnagiri. In fact, just last week, I got a call from Mumbai saying that the High Court has, liked our proposal and they would like to work with us. So the family court in Mumbai, but due to COVID now, I don't know how we are going to go ahead.
But that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lovely. High Court, and getting associated with the High Court and being able to help women from that level will be really, really fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah. Congratulations on that. Yeah. So that's the next. Yeah. So this is the article I remember that had come out.
This is the article. So this is just a sample that on 10th of December, 2019, we had inaugurated. This inauguration had happened in the court.
Right. That was Human Rights Day. I remember that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so now this is the kind of training I was talking about. This is Sakshi. I'll talk about her, more about her later probably. But this is the kind of course they give, a nursing attendant course. So a lot of senior citizens are also there. A lot of nowadays the situations are there where you need attendants, where you need helpers. You don't need qualified nurses. That you definitely need in the current healthcare which has happened. But these kind of women, they do not have certificates. So this Sakshi has done her course after 10th. So after 10, this course is conducted at an organization where she's trained 2 months of theory and 1 month of internship is what she goes through. And क्या सिखाता है इस course में? To read the bed chart, to make the bed, to dressings कैसे करना है, IV कैसे लगाना है, those kind of simple things which are done under the supervision of a sister or a person in charge, the nurse in charge, or whatever you call it at different. So this is one of the type of course. There's a tremendous response for this. In fact, we are getting, it's funny. From some doctors, we have got some girls right now from northeastern states, from Arunachal Pradesh, because that is again a part of India which is neglected, and there is no medical facility there. Very
limited
no
facilities.
medical facility. Yeah. So over there, through one doctor, we've been asked to support some girls, and we've tried to make. We've actually 2 girls are enrolled for this course through that, and we've also made arrangements. So through, imagine, from Arunachal Pradesh to Bombay to Pune, volunteers have got them. Handled them, picked them up, got them here, made arrangements for their food, for their stay, and we've got them enrolled in these courses. And in a month, like how, who's from Arunachal now, she will get a job. So all these girls through this, after doing this course, they get a job. The job ranges around, the pay ranges around 8,000 to 10,000 rupees. So at the first level, and they get jobs in hospitals immediately. There's a lot of demand for that now.
That's great.
This is one of the individual courses which we offer these girls. Then, here you can see beauty parlor. Now you can see even during COVID times, this is Akshata. She's worn a shield and gloves and all of that. And they've been, the other girls are getting the bride ready. These are all the girls through our organization who are taking beauty parlor training. Now, why beauty parlor? Because this is something which these ladies coming from this socially deprived background are fascinated by. They have got an aspirational, मुझे भी ऐसे दिखना है, जैसे टीवी पे दिखते हैं, जैसे मैडम दिखती है, जैसे और कोई हमारी ये दिखती है, ऑफिस में बैठ जाते हैं, मुझे भी वैसे दिखना है. So मैम, मुझे ब्यूटी पार्लर कोर्स करना है, मैं उसी से. And of course they go to any village or they go to any other city, उनकी बस्ती में भी they can earn, they can do their self, what do you say, it's like a self employment thing. Eyebrows कराने हैं या और कुछ कराने हैं, people do come. But what our effort is that we are going to try and get them connected or joined with organizations like Personal Home Service, like Urban Clap. No, now it is, I think, Urban Company.
Urban Company.
Yeah. So like that, because what happens is when they get orders for parlors in their own basti or in their own circle, the remuneration or the earning from that is also limited.
Right.
So agar unke yahan pe they are getting maybe say 20 rupees for an eyebrow, they get through Urban Clap they get maybe 50 or whatever, I don't remember.
Definitely a better deal.
But they get a better deal through that. So that is what we are trying to do now. So there are a lot of girls, but there's a lot of demand. They understand this. So there's a lot of demand for this, for basic and advanced course for beauty parlor. Okay. So this is a two-wheeler driving. I'm happy to share today on this Women's Day that we've been trying for a long time to do a tie-up where they can get a job, like deliveries through Dunzo or this thing. So today itself, I have got a call. I'm going to have that meeting in maybe in the coming week, wherein the company who provides manpower to Dunzo, to Zomato, and to all these delivery, the things which have been the lifeline companies during COVID for us, they are ready to employ our women, and we are going to discuss it out. So this kind of training, two-wheeler driving training, is what we give them. So you have to really handhold them, and unko batana padta hai ki these are the ways in which you can earn. Even through this you can earn. So these are not something, this is not something which it strikes them कि मैं ये भी कर सकती हूँ. This is more of an aspirational thing. हाँ, मैंने सीख लिया, two-wheeler सीख लिया, मेरी, I'm going on my bike, I'm roaming around, but they can earn, and this is a flexi timing thing for them. So if they take care of a child at home, or if they have to take care of someone elderly at home, or parents या सास बोलती है नहीं अभी 11 से 5 में you should work and you should come back home before that, or something like that, or she is doing a job in the morning and she wants to supplement her income. right? So then in the evening time, in fact, a lot of people order food or a lot of deliveries are there. So there's a lot of scope for them to earn. So what I understand is that they get a lot of tips also, from there, and it enables them to lead their life with dignity. That is the whole,
Purpose.
effort.
Yeah.
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 So
So yeah,
yeah.
this is the spoken English classes which you all have held, and I can see it's online.
Yeah, so during COVID time, what happened was a lot of them lost their jobs,
Hmm.
whatever jobs, who were there, and they kept. So I needed something to bind them together and to tell them that you are not alone. There are many of you in a similar position, as well as to augment their skill. Because there was one of my ladies called Vaishali. She was working as a receptionist in a doctor's office, doctor's clinic, and see, I don't blame anyone. I don't blame ourselves also, because people are going to be people. But she was getting paid some 7, 8 thousand something, and then there was another person the doctor got who knew English. A little bit of English, when they could attend the phone calls, they could, write the names in their cards and things like that. A little bit of better service,
Hmm.
and plus ready to work at a lower salary, because a saving is a saving. That is what in COVID times we have all have learned,
We've seen
that
that.
money
Yeah.
saved is money earned. So she lost her job. So over there, and because that person was ready to work in 5,000 or 6,000, something like that. Then I thought that no, let me, augment their skill. And we took spoken English classes, online spoken English. It was a big challenge, because how to uh, उनके साथ ये कैसे करना है. So did they have a smartphone? If they didn't have a smartphone, can they borrow a smartphone? उसके ऊपर डेटा का रिचार्ज हुआ है कि नहीं हुआ है? So if the data recharge is not there, then you're telling them what is Zoom, how will you come online for Zoom, understanding, making the trainer understand that what is the background of these women. See, it's a 1.5 month course. I'm sure all of you will agree. In 1.5 month, the woman who is just, who's coming from this kind of background is not going to be extremely fluent with English or something like that. But what we realized is that their confidence increased,
Hmm.
and they could understand certain words. Like they had the confidence to put it on a WhatsApp group कि दीदी इसको ना उन्होंने ना ऐसा बोला, उन्होंने बोला include मतलब क्या करना है, include क्या होता है. तो like, or send it to me, send it to me, she's saying मतलब क्या करना है दीदी. So that kind of a thing they started sharing. And then certain keywords we could, give them, that how to introduce yourself, how to, when you approach your child, how should you, because on education be online ho gaya. All the
Right.
education started, all the classes were online. So what do you do, how do you deal with, when the teacher says ki, this is what you have to do, right? So they started understanding all of this, and it was a fantastic experience. In fact, we had almost we trained almost 40 ladies over there,
Wow.
because in one batch we take only 10, because we cannot otherwise give personal attention to this. And
Right.
we trained almost 40 ladies during COVID times.
That's
So this was one of
fantastic.
the courses,
Fantastic.
very much in demand now. Now certain small organizations are also coming for their staff for that course. Okay, this was another course during COVID times which we took. It was a small training, because COVID may we needed bigger places. Not many places were open. These are ladies where you can see they are from construction sites, and everything was stopped, and they need
Right.
to do. So cotton week मतलब फुलवात असते ना आपली देवाजवळ आपण
जो
रुई
दिया
बत्ती.
बाती बाती जो we use
बाती,
for
हाँ हाँ
diyas.
हाँ.
Yeah.
द
Yeah.
पफ्ड वंस, द रुई बत्ती बोलते हैं उसको हिंदी में, या कॉटन विक्स. So that was a very simple training. It was something which no one was going to get hurt. In this training, you have to just make it by hand. There are machines, but handmade cotton wicks are much more in demand, and you have to make it by hand. But it's a skill. And there are certain points to keep in mind. So we had this training during COVID times, because they really needed money. And what we did was, we have tied up with a distributor, all over Maharashtra distributor for this, that whatever they make, they give it to us. We provide the raw material, and we pick up the finished product also, so that immediately the earning starts
Right.
per kilo. So our calculation is that it takes some time, because it's a skill. So our calculation is that, suppose the lady, even per kilo, she earns say 400 rupees, for example, or 500 rupees. Okay. It depends on the quality of the cotton which she's giving. So say 500, and in a month she's earning 2,000. Now for us, 2,000 may not be a big amount, but if you actually go to see, दूध और किराना तो उसके घर का हो जाता है 2,000 में.
True.
So her children are fed, her family is taken care of, food is taken care of, because government was giving food definitely during COVID times. But many a times you needed documents, you needed Aadhaar card, you needed so many other things. Plus government used to give food packages to certain areas, or they used to give, only rice. At a time they'll give only rice. So family of four and you're getting 5 kilo rice, but you don't have wheat. So every time they're eating rice for all 3 meals, how long is that 5 kg rice going to last?
True.
So
True.
they
True.
needed money. They need money for oil, so many kind of things which they need, require. So this was one of the projects we did, uh, and we
Yeah.
still continue to do this project.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is another project. This is a cloth bag making project. This is in Yeravda, which is a predominantly, Basti mein. So, हमारा USP क्या है? What do we do? What is our uniqueness? Is we take the trainer to the Basti for these kind of. If you all see, these are group trainings. Some of these were beauty parlor and all were individual trainings, which is difficult to hold for, to take the trainer or to take all that equipment over there.
Right.
But some of the group trainings were in groups. Some ladies, they don't want to come alone. हम groups में आएंगे, हम 2 लोग आएंगे, हम लोग 4 लोग आएंगे. That way, they're very hesitant to come alone, and they are not ready to travel also because पैसा ही नहीं होता. बस के लिए भी पैसा नहीं होता. बस का pass, if you see in Pune for a month, it costs around 1,400 rupees for the whole month.
Seriously?
Plus, she's not used to it. Plus, yeah, it does.
It's really
It
that
costs like
expensive?
that.
My God. Okay.
Yeah. So that is if the bus goes all over Pune. So if you can take out that kind of pass, but they don't realize कि सिर्फ कोई routes का भी pass निकाल सकते हैं and all of that. So you have to really talk to them, handhold them. So what we do is we collaborate with various organizations. This is another organization जिनके पास machines थे, जिनके पास they had place over there, and they were running a small creche over there. And they didn't know what to do with the machines. Some donor had given them machines. So we said, okay, we will train you to make cloth bags. So these are the kind of cloth bags. Now the women are waiting for orders. During COVID times, we could not do this project, but we are hoping that we will get, we can give them orders and we can sell this. Even a set of 5, we are selling it around, these are small vegetable bags, but we also make for corporates with their logo. We can make jute bags, we can make cotton bags, those kinds. So the moment we get an order, the woman gets her money. So that is how she gets her employment.
Lovely.
Right.
Wait.
Yeah. Okay, this is another project, imitation jewelry. This is again in the Basti. If you see, this is a hall which the women used to clean. This is a 3-week project because the training itna aasan nahi hai usme. But the enthusiasm used to be so much. There's to collect everyone and there's to clean the place, and we had nothing to sit over there. But they didn't mind. They said we will sit on the floor. We are okay. You teach us. You're coming over here. So every day we used to take it for 2 hours in the afternoon. So what happens is that a lot of courses have to be tailor-made for the constraint of the woman. When does the woman have that free time and a free mind space to attend? Because this is skill development. So she has to be, ready. Readiness of mind has to be there for learning. It is one of the principles of education, actually.
Right.
So if that is there and we understand the constraint of the woman, so a lot of trainers, we take the trainers to the Basti. In all the group trainings, this is what we do.
Nice.
Right. And then how do we market this? We ask for stalls in corporates or in exhibitions where we take the stalls, and then we, stall pe rakhte hain and people can buy, customers can buy. That is how we do it. We are hoping to link it to websites, but we haven't yet come to that.
Right. Yeah. This looks interesting.
Yeah, this is, these are LED strings, especially now we are hoping that a lot of demand will come in for this. These are Indian LED strings, lighting.
Diwali lightings, all the lights that you put up for Diwali, right?
But in India being a country of many facets, lighting can be used during elections, it can be used during marriages, it can be used during festivals. So whole year round there is a demand. This is a training for the women of a 50 bulb string, and we have a tie-up for distributors with this also. So how much ever the woman can make, we can buy, and she gets her piece of this thing. But again, it's a slightly skilled job, so she has to be trained, and we do a follow-up training also over there, wherein the trainer does a second follow-up training and making her, because this constitutes of a soldering gun, and she has to solder certain things. So this is basically assembly. It is not manufacturing, it's assembly, but it's job work for the women, and that also is what we do.
Yeah. So I think this is our solution to stop using Chinese products.
Yeah,
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 right.
yeah.
Pallavi, all this, and I see there's a question that someone has put in, that all this requires a lot of money, right?
Yes.
And we know that how giving financial aid is one of the ways in which people can support. And from what I hear, there's marketing, there's a whole lot of things that you probably need, right? I mean,
Mm.
support in. So giving funds is just one of the ways in which people can support you, but what are some other ways in which people can support you in your endeavor?
Okay. So if I may, Anu, I would like to answer the first part of the question. Someone has asked that it requires a lot of money. I think Sudhakar has asked that
Right, right.
funding is required. So we are still a small organization. And as I said that, I believe that what goes around comes around. So I think my better days are here. And I have a very supportive husband right now. And luckily, he doesn't mind pulling in for the initial thing. So for the setup for any business, if you look at it as a business, for any business it requires at least a gestation period of 3 years. So
Right.
right now we are obviously contributing to it financially, but also we have a lot of individual donors. A lot of donations keep coming through people who want to support us, and that is of course one of the ways. A lot of corporates are also now coming forward, but there is a lot of procedure involved, and we are open to doing all that procedure. Obviously COVID time, so we had to take certain hits, just as other people did take hits. But we actually now need more support in terms of social media marketing is one of the support. Like, I need hands, I need skills, where people can help me, where I don't have to then spend on what do you say, in getting that job done by paying someone. So the skill donation is also one of the ways in one of the ways in which you could contribute. So you could help me market the products, you could help the organization by giving orders of our products, maybe the LED lights or the bags and things like that. Or you could obviously give help us to do our website. You could even help us to connect us with various people or trainers who could give these kind of trainings, who are ready or who empathize with the ladies and who are ready to come to these bastis. Because that is another thing, we
Right.
talk that we want to do so much, but
Right.
are we really ready to come over there amongst that basti, sit with those women, unke ghar ka khana pina khao, or and do that? So it requires empathetic minds. So you could connect us to people over like that, who are ready. And most important is market. Only trainings is not going to be enough for them. What is going to be important is connecting them to the market. Agar material ko uthao hai, if there is a demand for, you could help us to create those demands, you could help us to create those kind of links. And small when the festival comes, like I don't know how to do that. There are so many links where this is a product of this organization, and please buy from them, and that kind of a thing. So these are the way. As volunteers, you could, whenever you have time, all those who are in Pune, just come join us. We need people who could empathize with them, who could talk to those ladies, psychologists, counselors. There are many times we feel these ladies are going through um, going through a lot. Most of these ladies either are victims of dowry and ill treatment, or abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, alcoholic, either the father or the parent, or just some problems which life throws up. So we need people who would understand these kind of limitations and constraints, and connect to those ladies. So if you're interested in volunteering, please contribute that way also. So these are the very different ways in which you could contribute.
Wow. So, I'd like to throw this thing open. Are we ready for questions? Is there anything else, Pallavi, you would like to share about this, or do we take in some questions?
I don't mind taking in questions
Yeah.
where we can learn more. I think
Yeah. So
there is.
I'll just go through this. There are a couple of questions over here. Or maybe you could ask your own questions. You could just maybe, Archana, you have a question there, I see. about how do women come to know about.
Pallavi?
You can't hear you. Yeah.
Yes, really interesting. Gosh, it's like I'm just massive, massive. Just wanted to ask you, so how do these women know about the programs or the teaching courses that you're doing? So is there awareness out there, or is the awareness increasing?
Okay, so basically we are empaneled with the courts, right? So mainly the courts, the ladies come to know through the courts, and uh, the unfortunate part of it is एक औरत one lady in need spreads the word that okay, this organization has helped me, so why don't you go, that way. Then the organizations themselves whom with we do joint projects. So we have tried to do a project like the bag making project was in Yeravda, the beauty parlor is in Bibbewadi. These are different parts of Pune right now. So they become like nodes, nodal
Right.
centers where they themselves attract women like you are getting support for this training, so the person in charge of the training or the organization, they themselves come forward कि ma'am इतने सारे candidates hai, are you ready to support? Or even some friends and people, some of their mates or some people who they've come in contact with, they give it to us. We have also approached certain government agencies, like many organizations have started approaching us. Like, for example, now we are discussing with one mental health organization, wherein we are trying to do a project for, there's a mental hospital in Yeravda, which is Asia's biggest hospital. And we are discussing about doing a project for women called as a Going Back Home project. See, what is these women come from different backgrounds, or gussa aa jata hai, kuch na kuch ho jata hai, the husband is hitting her, or some turmoil is happening in the house, and the woman steps out. But the woman is so isolated or so protected that when she comes out and she is living on the street, because of some things, she doesn't know where she is, where she has come, how to go back. She doesn't, or she's faced some trauma, someone has hit her on the head, and a lot of examples like this. And then the police get her to the mental hospital. Then they wo theek ho jate hain. Okay, so they are fine. But now the lady doesn't remember her address. So how does she go back? Or there's no way we can even, the relatives don't come forward, or there's no missing person complaint filed with the police. So then what do these ladies do? They need to support themselves. So there's a project for rehabilitation of these women, and creating awareness in the basti ki aise bhi log hain, inko accept kar lo. So there are organizations like this who approached me that how will the lady survive? She needs some livelihood training. So all these factors, combined, we are, in fact, now the flow is so much that I really need funds now, because it's like with the COVID times, and now since it's opening and COVID is coming back, the situation is becoming worse. Everyone is looking for work. कुछ भी काम हो, हमें थोड़ा तो काम दे दीजिए. They are not, many times the ladies say कि हमें training नहीं करना है. We don't want to go through 2 months training, 3 months training, 6 months training. आज मुझे पैसा चाहिए so that I can feed my children now, today. That's the kind of mindset. Give me a job, give me a training today. So it has to be a short-term thing, because her mindset is not, she's not that attentive right now. Her mind space is not tuned to that kind of a thing. But this is how, so I luckily, we did not have to, we haven't yet had the space to do any awareness sessions. We are flooded.
Just a quick thought, Pallavi and Anupama. I think because Pune has large IT sector, and then each organization have a corporate social responsibility budget. Because when I was working, I used to have it.
Yeah.
So I think maybe because they choose projects within locally.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you maybe approach some of the people, some of the organizations, and then request them to be give some part of the social responsibility, because anyway they have to give, the organizations have the budget,
right?
It has to give it. So I think maybe if you are doing it's a great work and then excellent work, you're doing a lot of projects. I think maybe if you could approach some of these IT companies,
And in fact, I think that's where some of us also can, help connect her to the IT companies, if we know someone in the organization.
Yeah.
Right.
And then send me that information. Then I will, whatever I have contacts in Hyderabad.
Yes.
I will, send them. And then I will also ask my previous company.
Fantastic.
Unfortunately, I don't work for any company now, but I'll try. I truly want to help something because this is a great work.
Yeah,
excellent.
Thank you. I think we have a couple of more questions over here. Sheil has asked, have you approached any government agencies for support or jobs?
Not yet. We are still, finding our feet, because we had a little bit, we had structured ourselves, and then COVID hit last year.
Right.
So this whole year, and what happens is that if right now, I'm like a one man, I wouldn't like to say army, but I'm the only one who addressing everything. And if I need volunteers who wouldn't look at getting paid, because we are in no position to pay people. Like I myself have worked as a CSR coordinator for NGOs, so I know the kind of payments which people expect. But right now we've not even completed 3 years, so so we're not in a position to pay, unfortunately. But on a voluntary basis, if you could, it takes a lot of effort and follow up to even connect with CSR and to do that. We are planning to do that, definitely. I'm definitely planning to do that. But I would appeal to all the people here, if you could connect me to some of them directly, it would help us also.
Right.
So government, because government have a certain criteria that you have to have certain certifications, compliances, 3 years completed, and a lot of other things. So not right now. We haven't yet approached that. We haven't gone there.
Yeah. Dr. Rohini has asked what about the criteria for training. Would you like to ask your question exactly, Dr. Rohini? Are you there?
Okay, I think she means to ask that what are the criteria for me to select. So there is no particular criteria. It all no problem. I think I got your question. It all depends on what is the situation of the woman. See, I will share a case study with you where I had a woman. I don't think I want to disclose her name right now, but she was MA. Okay, but she was traumatized, and she was a victim of physical abuse so much that she used to get headaches, and she didn't know what she was doing. She went through a divorce, that whole process, and she's now staying with her parents, but in outskirts of Pune, like a rural area. Even though she was MA and she was well educated and everything, she just wasn't in the right frame of mind to do anything about it. And now, because gap ho gaya, because by the time now she's coming back into the market, she's not even getting there's no experience, there's nothing. She's 38 years of age, and she's not getting the kind of jobs. Now, if she comes to Pune, she gets a job of around 8,000, 10,000. She can't sustain herself over here. Then what does she do? So understanding a case-to-case basis like that, understanding her interests also, understanding how much she can focus right now, what is her physical disability. It may not be apparent, but what is her physical disability, what kind of how much she can sit at one time. So we asked her to join in our imitation jewelry course, and she's doing very well. She completed that course. In fact, a few things were left, but COVID hit. But she has started her own, she started taking her own orders on WhatsApp. She's got so interested on that in her own this thing at her village, she is in Daund actually, from some kilometers from Pune. She's now taking orders, and she's very happy. She keeps connecting with me saying, ki, ma'am, I want to come and meet you, but my dad says that, you can't go because of COVID, buses are not on and things like that. So it depends. There's no criteria. Many of these women, for group trainings, what we do is we take, even if you don't have education, that's okay. But for trainings like nursing attendant or for parlor, at least 10th pass, 11th pass, something like that. For spoken English also, maybe 10th pass. So thoda sa ye ho jata hai, but otherwise we are flexible.
Right. I think you've already answered Sunita's question. Fixed venue. I think the training programs, you go to the location and have whichever place is available.
So we also associate with lot of NGOs like Inner Wheel clubs. I've associated with. So the Cottonwick slide where you could see us doing the project was with the Inner Wheel club. So they arrange for the venue. So it is and it is a gym which the gym owner had given us, her gym hall. So it was a big enough space. So, and it was sanitized and things like that. So a lot of people are coming forward where, okay, if you can give us a donation in kind, in the sense that use our space, or, use, what do you say, use our resources, that kind of a thing. So that kind of donation is also welcome. And that is how that's another way for people to help us.
Yeah. Thank you so much. If there are no more questions, I have one last question for you, Pallavi. If there was one message that you would like to share with all of us, what would that be?
See, there is one saying by Sri Swami Samarth Ramdas. It's in Marathi. Marathiचा श्लोक आहे की केल्याने होत आहे रे, आधी केलेची पाहिजे. So the rough translation of this is that you can make it happen, but first you have to try. Okay. So I think that is what everyone should believe in. Do not wait for, if I had planned, okay, I have so many ladies, or paisa kahan se aayega, it requires so much of funds. I will do my bit. At least it will help one woman. At least it will help 10 women. Yes, tomorrow I may not have the numbers. I may not have, today can't say that in a year I have helped 5,000 women. I don't have those numbers today. But we can do our bit. So let's start. Don't wait. Things come, the doors open, and things do fall in place. That is one message. Second message is, if it's okay, I have another message, Anu, which I would like to give.
Yeah, sure.
Is that if you're going through certain situations, wherever you are, I think recognize the situation. First step is to recognize the situation yourself, to acknowledge it to yourself, okay, and to accept it. Take help, share it with your friends, share it with your family, talk it out, take help. It's okay to take help. It's okay to go through whatever, whatever you are maybe feeling about. And even people like Anupama are there who will stand by you and who will support you in come what may. So connect to people around you, like-minded people around you, and get help. Understand yourself and learn to deal with it. And life does go on. You will find a path after that.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Pallavi. We have someone just asking, how do we connect with you? And I'm just going to share the screen once more, and there. So that's her. That's the contact details. You can either email her, or that's her phone number, Pallavi's. Yeah. So I think
I'm available on WhatsApp on this number also. This is my personal number, but because since this is a personal, forum, especially with Anu being such a close friend, I've given my personal number, and this is my email ID. Please reach out to me. Thank you. So there were some queries, and some people have come forward where they would like to donate. I would just like to, tell them to wait till April. I will definitely connect you, because in the new financial year, then we can restructure some things because of COVID and things like that. We're looking at taking up. So I will have some certain other things in hand. So I will definitely get in touch with you. Please drop an email on this mail ID.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Can I speak to Pallavi?
Yes, please. Yeah. Okay.
Pallavi, yes, we met last year and you told me that you were going to do all this. My God, you've done so much. Excellent, excellent. Please keep up the job. I'm your auntie, Pushpa Nimbarkar.
Oh, auntie, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, thank you.
In fact, I want to mention, I'm really, Anu, if I can take a minute, there are many friends of mine also over here, Anu, Archana, Varsha, of course they are there, but there's Sneha, there's Sudhakar, there's Priyanka, there's, there is Kumudini auntie, so many aunties. Everyone has given me a helping hand at some stage or the other. There was one auntie, my younger sister's friend's mother. We call her Deshpande Kapu. And she has, she's been there for me for so many small things. And that is what inspired me, that someone or the other was there to, give me a hand at various points in my life. So maybe if I can give a helping hand to someone, as a tribute to all these aunties. And the world does go round, When we were small, I was in, my sister was also a St. Mary student, and she was there, and there was a Auntie Kurzekar auntie who was there. And when I was doing these projects, how the world is so small, and I approached an organization saying that I need some help in the form of a trainer because my trainer can't come for the back project. And who do I see as the chairperson of that organization is that Kurzekar auntie who had fed us. She used to, over the fence, she used to, chota sa dabbe mein na, she used to hide it and give it, okay, quickly eat, you're hungry, so quickly eat. And today, she was the chairperson of there, and I could reconnect with her. So, Pushpa auntie, it's been because of, women like you that where I am today. Thank you so much.
I
Can I
proud to be
congratulate
associated
Pallavi?
with you. All the best.
Can I congratulate Pallavi?
Yeah,
Yes,
That's,
definitely.
Can you guess who am I? We met long time back. I am Anu's mother-in-law. Mrs. Pradhan speaking.
Yes,
Pallavi, you are doing highly commendable job with your patience, and really so many fields you have covered. I'm very, very happy for you and wish you all the best hereafter also. I think Anu and Anu's friends are doing marvelous jobs, and I'm very proud of you all. Very proud of you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Auntie. Thank you so much.
Very good. See you.
Yeah. So thank you so much for everyone for logging in, for being a part of this conversation. Thank you, Pallavi, for sharing your journey and the amazing work. Yes, Ujjwala. Yes.
Can I quickly request her a small message, Pallavi, if you could share on WhatsApp, which we can share on our groups, so that more and more people get to know about your work, your organization, and whichever way they can help, they can contribute. Like you said, it is very important for people to understand. How will they understand? Everybody these days is connected through WhatsApp, and if we are able to send it to at least say 250, 500, 1,000 people, it's good. Like all of us from here, like we are some 29, 30 people here. If we send about 10 groups this kind of message and request them to send it forward, so it can really spread fast. So I'll request you to send a very small message which gives you your like whatever contact details you want to give, and some message, thoda sa acha sa message, like people come to know. Anu can help you in that. And you can send it to her, she can send it to me. I also have few friends, I'll share with them, and I'm sure we all can do this much. In fact, today itself, within half an hour, we can send it to almost 500
if you all
people
don't
each.
mind, all those who are here, if you all don't mind connecting in a WhatsApp group, I could, you all could maybe connect on my number. We could make a WhatsApp group, and then I could keep on passing these messages, which you could, pass it on to your connects.
Right.
If you all don't mind, that is, because I know sometimes it becomes an overload also.
So maybe I'll help coordinate that. And really, I must thank everyone, because
maybe a broadcast list.
Yeah, broadcast list. We have friends over here who've actually joined in from starting from Singapore to USA. And that's really amazing that people have logged into this call from literally all over the world. Archana's in UK, Varsha's in the US. We have Sarguna logging in from Singapore. I think thank you so much for all of you for taking out your time, giving this time and listening to what Pallavi has to share. And I think one of the most important messages that Pallavi has come out with is that acknowledge what you're going through. So in case, if you are going through something, acknowledge, share, and then do something about it.
Anu, I would like to take a moment to also acknowledge my two friends, Sneha and Trupti, who are also here, part of this group. And if I have missed out anyone, please understand that it is not because I don't remember you. It's just right now I'm just too much into this, so I may have missed it out. But you're dear to me. Thank you.
Right. Yeah.
Pallavi, may I have something share with you?
Yes, Sunita, of course.
Yeah, this is Sunita. See, Anu, we have worked together as, the presidents in the same year, 17-18. And now together we are training teachers. So I'm really so much overwhelming, whatever you're doing. You started with the Swayam Siddha during your presidential year. And now really you are preparing many Swayam Siddhas now. You all know that, Pallavi, you know that I'm giving some sort of online yoga training that is I conduct. So I don't mind, taking online sessions for these ladies, meditative sessions, as you said, they are undergone so many traumas and other things. So this kind of thing also might help just a little bit before the training program or in between 15 minutes, half an hour, and just, cool them down mentally, pacify them. So I will definitely love to contribute in that way.
Thank you, Sunita. I'll definitely keep in mind and connect with you.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much.
Can I say something?
Yes, Melissa.
Thank you so much to Anu and to Pallavi for such an inspiring session. It's very brave of you to be able to convert your angst into something that's so beneficial, and it's an empowering force for all women. So thank you so much, and all the very best. What you're doing, it's really inspirational and encouraging for all of us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Wonderful to be able to be here today and to share that.
Yeah. Tripti, you have something to say?
Yes, Anu, I connect with you from our uni days, right?
Right.
I was from biochemistry, you guys were from environmental science, and I've been following your work as well as Pallavi's ever since then,
Thank you.
So we go back a long, long way. We've been a part of each other's journeys directly and indirectly.
Right.
Talking about Pallavi, I have, seen all her highs and lows, most of them. And I think it takes a lot of personal courage to actually admit to yourself, and realize that you realize your strengths and weaknesses, and convert that so that others don't go through it. It's a huge realization.
True.
And like they say, charity begins from home. There are very few I know would actually say that, fine, I failed here, I fell short, and I don't want anybody else to go through that. So I think this is almost saintly, to be very honest. Most of us are humans.
But as I said, I can't change. I may not be able to change the world, but let me try and do, something different, or make a difference in my corner. As Anu's quotient is there, mad, make a difference. Today, it's a mad quotient. It's a madness, which has probably, according to many
it is an obsession with you, because I remember you from the times when you were contemplating, and then you just decided to take that leap, and you said, enough of waiting, I just want to do this. And that passion is still there, and I see that courage in you, I see that commitment, and that's a very rare trait. So I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much, Tripti. Thank you so much, Shama. You've also messaged. I would also like to tell everyone that I don't think it's too late, for us to do what our hearts want to do. Because, see, I'm 50. I've crossed 50 rather now. And there are many women who I know who, at least abhi to ji lo, yaar, abhi to kar lo. We've done everything for our children and, the typical so-called things which are expected of us. I think abhi nahi karoge to kab karoge, and I think we should all start with this, thought in mind.
Yeah. Thank you so much. We have a lot of people whom I don't even know who have logged in, which I think in Pallavi. Thank you so much for everyone. I would be sharing this on YouTube. I'll probably send you all the link, and please share her story forward so that more people can actually align with her. And understand the work and align with the work that she's doing. And like she says, take the first step, take that step. It's never too late to take the step to follow your passion, right? Thank you so much, everyone.